When it comes to Disney's live-action versions of animated classics, Snow White's box office failure and subsequent designation as one of the worst in the company's history can be attributed to a number of factors. We can claim with certainty that Rachel Zegler was a major factor in the film's failure. It encompassed more than just her political views. It also included the continuing turmoil between her and Gal Gadot behind the scenes, among other things. Beyond Zegler's role, it is now evident that Disney bears a significant portion of the responsibility. The film's creative direction and quality were greatly impacted by the company's overemphasis on diversity, equity, and inclusion day, both behind the scenes and in the finished product when it was released in theaters. It's also crucial to remember that ever since it went live on Disney+, Snow White has been doing terribly in terms of ratings and audience data. According to reports, many producers and studio executives do not want to work with Rachel Zegler going ahead, and she has even acknowledged losing roles in the industry. Let's examine this in more detail. We have long been aware of Rachel Zegler's propensity to occasionally go on political tirades. She had been largely silent for some time, but now that the Snow White controversy is starting to subside, she seems more at ease expressing her political views. Zegler has once again gone to social media to vent her emotions, notably about losing positions in Hollywood and her political beliefs, as Disney continues to suffer in 2025, particularly with the poor performance of Disney Plus after Snow White's flop. The biggest problem in this industry that many young actresses face, especially now in 2025, is losing work because of their political views and their right to free speech, Zegler recently said. That makes me feel like a victim. Men are able to say whatever they want in Hollywood, but women aren't given the same freedom when it comes to expressing their political views. This is a rising hypocrisy. That's where the true issue is. In this industry, actresses like myself ought to receive better treatment. Everything seems to have vanished even though I'm here doing publicity for Snow White. What am I even doing anymore? I ask myself as I sit here. I'm not sure, but I might be getting older and out of the perfect age range. However, those who work in this field ought to have the freedom to express their opinions, shape public perception, and talk with common sense. When top-level company leaders dictate to you what is appropriate and inappropriate to say, it is blatantly hypocritical. In 2025, that will be the main issue affecting actresses. Nowadays, no one feels free to speak themselves, particularly if they agree with DEI. This is currently my biggest struggle as a working actress. Working with studios that share your political views and support them is crucial, particularly if they encourage common sense and don't oppose diversity. She is obviously alluding to Donald Trump's elimination of day programs in the motion picture industry, as you can see, and the fact that several studios have since done the same. Zegler went on, "What matters now is that we move past this current administration and restore Hollywood to what it was 6 months ago. Despite some opposition from within the industry, it's utterly unrecognizable at the moment. Hollywood is going through a really dark period right now, especially for those of us from various backgrounds. I would advise other actresses to think about what type of country we live in if they are unable to express their opinions or voice their political beliefs. It is tragic that we now live in a society where the political right celebrates failure. These are scary times. We as a culture must get past this stage in history where diversity is being shunned. That change is quite concerning, and we need to make people aware of it. Women have been marginalized or restricted to supporting roles in our industry for far too long. I'm grateful that I got to play a lead in Snow White, but chances like that don't come along very often, especially these days if you're outspoken about your political beliefs. In addition, I'm happy to report that I now consider myself an activist. Let me now address a concern regarding Rachel Zegler. She frequently makes untrue statements. She maintains, for instance, that women aren't being given lead roles, which is just not true. Women are frequently cast in starring roles. What she's talking about there is unclear to me. One thing is for sure. Though she is telling a serious untruth when she talks about her political beliefs and says that many actors and actresses aren't permitted to express them. Many celebrities, like Julia Roberts, George Clooney, Robert De Niro, Rachel Zegler, and Alec Baldwin, have publicly expressed their political views without facing repercussions. Years ago, she made political remarks and received no criticism. Pedro Pascal and many others in Hollywood obviously find it difficult to believe that some people disagree with the mainstream goals and messages. This is precisely the reason why a number of TV series have become ratings disasters and other films have failed miserably at the box office. This pattern has been observed thus far in 2025. If Hollywood ever recovers from the harm caused by years of stepping up day efforts, since about 2015-2016, it will probably take a very long time. Regarding Rachel Zegler, she has practically acknowledged that she is losing parts, and seems to think that she is getting older, and is no longer in the most sought-after age range in the industry. However, the truth is that Rachel Zegler is dealing with the fallout from her behavior. During the promotion, and even during the making of Snow White, she made a lot of mistakes, almost every error you could make. Significant creative disagreements resulted from this, which ultimately hurt the movie's box office success and Disney Plus rating. She is currently receiving very modest roles in very low-budget films. For example, she and Marissa Tomei are presently working on a movie that could cost up to $10 million, or perhaps $3 to $4 million. It is probably going to have a very limited theatrical run. This is the current state of her career. Let's use this as an example. You shouldn't offend those who hold different political opinions or alienate your fan base. We all recall her saying, "I don't want your business if you support Donald Trump." Well, people answered. They distanced themselves from Snow White, stayed at home, and boycotted the film. Families have no desire to interact with Rachel Zegler. Finally, please share your ideas in the comments section below. Please give the channel a thumbs up if you liked today's video, and I hope to see you all again soon.